Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to introduce you to the first XMM platform, which merges RMM, PSA, and now Microsoft 365 multi-tenant management capabilities all in one experience. The platform is designed to simplify your operations, secure your customers, and help you scale your business. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So I am Richard Dean. I am Senior Director of Product Management overseeing the Microsoft 365 integrations. And my partner in crime today is Steve Horn, Strategic Account Executive. Steve, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. Excited to be here. Excited to bring you through this. It's going to be a good time.
All right. Thanks, sir. All right. So why Syncro? So a lot of people out in the audience may know us. They may even be a customer, but there are probably some people out there that don't know us very well. So I'm going to take a few minutes just to talk about why Syncro. So let's dive into it. So first and foremost, Syncro was designed with the MSP in mind. Some of the key benefits that we're offering our MSP is a unified platform. So again, that is merging RMM, PSA, and Microsoft 365 capabilities, but also over 50 integrations within our marketplace, giving you that single pane of glass or that unified experience that you really need. We're giving you a technical boost in productivity. We have built-in AI capabilities inside of ticketing, and we're continuing to explore that area where AI makes sense for our customers. We have expansive scripting capabilities for your devices. We have extensive patch management, ticketing, all in one place again. So empowering your technicians to achieve more in less time is the goal. We provide rapid implementation and a quick return on investment by providing quick onboarding, easy onboarding, so you can immediately start to accelerate your workflows within your business. And then most importantly, we simplify and make your pricing predictable for your growth. You're going to benefit from per user pricing with us, no required contracts, no onboarding or hidden fees, allowing you to scale your business with confidence. As we position ourselves with MSPs, we're also accelerating ourselves around the IT or the small, medium business IT departments, where we're going to provide centralized management so they can manage their devices, their users, remote access, all from a single platform. We're going to help you automate your efficiency again with leveraging AI, customizable scripting, patch management to really supercharge your technicians' productivity. We're providing streamlined ticket resolution through smart ticket management that help you easily route, track, and complete those tickets quickly and efficiently. We're helping you reclaim your time by automating routine tasks that allow your teams to focus strategically on high value projects and activities. We also help you tailor your needs by providing flexibility around customizations and alert and ticketing and notifications and all the different settings where you can really manage your customers in the way that you need and manage your users in the way that you need. And then finally, and most importantly, we're providing expert assistance and a real community so you can to access our technical experts, but also really engage within our community and share your resources together. So that's a little bit about us. The last thing that I'll mention here is and kind of codify is what is XMM? And XMM, from its basic level, like we talked about, is the merging of PSA, it's the merging of RMM, and it's the now underlying or the underpinning of Microsoft 365. But a better way to look at this is that we're providing now your operational capabilities to run IT and run your MSP business. We're providing the endpoint capabilities to continue to manage your endpoints because they're so important. But finally, we're allowing you to now really manage your identities, your datas, and your apps and secure everything, simplify this management, multi-tenant management of Microsoft 365 and help your business scale. So now it is demonstration time. I'm going to turn it over to my partner, and Steven's going to give you a demonstration. So, Steve,
Yeah, now time for the fun stuff. All right.
indeed.
As we're diving through all of this, like you said, questions into the question and answer, but we're gonna start in a couple kind of key areas, tailoring more into that Microsoft 365 environment of how we're bringing XMM to light and really extending that management and monitoring. So a lot of this will start with onboarding that new tenant. So the first part of that is always going to start in the admin section, and as we're going through this, you're going to start to see these different portions of how this is going to start to all come together. One of the nice portions about this is it can be a single tenant or it can be your CSP. So everything can be in here. So envision that as you're going through this, you're going to see hundreds of tenants that are all within Syncro. Now, we just have three. We're going to keep it a little simple on this one. But as you're doing this, you'll be able to manage all of this within a single pane of glass, right? As you're starting to connect, it's really easy to get any sort of help that you might need. Connecting these Microsoft 365s, starting with the tenants, mapping those mapping that to Syncro tenants, enabling the Entra sync. All of this has the documentation that's needed to be able to pull through, but also get you set up in the right direction. These are three that we have already started here. So I'm actually going to click into the Guardians of the Galaxy. Feeling a little helps if you actually click it into the portion of where this goes, right? So as we're connecting these tenants, we're going to need to decide how we want users to sync as well. So this starts to kind of go through of, okay, what types of users, I know, what domains do we want to sync? And all of this is going to begin to pull that information with our Entra integration into Syncro, into your end users portion, but connecting them obviously to those Microsoft tenants. So we have that integration connected. But there's a lot of different filters that are in here. You can pick and choose how you want to do this for each tenant. But most importantly, it can be done in a multi-tenancy fashion as well. Now, once that tenant is connected, you're going to start to see a bit of information right off the bat. So we haven't done anything other than connect these tenants, but you're going to start to see your Microsoft Secure Score. You're going to be able to see how many users they have in within them. And this is all going to tailor into things we can do within the next couple sections of how things are going through. But it'll start to populate that information as it comes in. Now that our tenant is within Syncro, maybe we're onboarding a new client. So now we can start that process, right? Next portion to that's going to be handling into kind of our network discovery and how we start to scan to see what's out there, but also what we're going to start to manage or maybe how we're deploying our agent to. So within the network discovery section, obviously we're going to start with creating a scan profile. So it'll be customer specific or organizational specific. And then all we need to have is one agent on that network. Once that agent's there, we can use that to then scan the IP range and subnets throughout the organization to begin to pull that information in. Now, what's nice about this, obviously, we can use this to then deploy any of uh, the Syncro agent to any of those devices that are found, including the ability to set this on a recurring schedule and then notify on new devices. So those notifications can come in through a push notification. It can be done through email. You set how you want that information to be portrayed to you, and all of it'll show directly within the Syncro platform. Now, once that scan is ran, you'll get a nice little portion of what was found, um, allowing you to kind of see everything in a table set here. You can mix around these columns. You can pin different things to the left or to the right. You can filter out different information or put more information in there and truly make the table yours for information that you want to see. Now, from here, one of the most important things is you'll be able to see exactly what we are already managing and what's unmanaged within this section too. Now, if we choose not to deploy the agent off the scan, you can still do that from this table. If I was to just pick one of these, let's go with this one, perfect. You'd be able to install this agent and update the credentials to be able to process that as well. So this is where we're all starting to gather every information that we're going to have for this new client that we're onboarding. And it starts with that Microsoft tenant and then deploying that agent. Now, when these agents are deployed based on the policies that we set, different monitors that we have, things that we're trying to keep track of for our clients, it's going to start to trigger out any sort of alerts. So This alerts tab is going to start to show up with different things. Once again, you can set different portions of what's going on within there, and everything will filter into this section. Now, you can figure out how to present this in your Syncro instance, but you can also set different automations to be able to handle this stuff without human interaction too. Now, what's nice is from this RMM alerts table, we can actually create different tickets. So as we're continuing to see these alerts come through, if we don't have automation to create tickets already, kind of like you see here with a quick little view of, hey, this ticket's already been resolved, but you can also just go ahead and create directly from here. So this will bring you into this portion of where it's going to say, okay, what information do we need? Here it is. Now we're in a ticket view. So really easy to position from an RMM alert directly into the ticketing, and then have all the information you might need, including quick access to the asset directly from here, right? So nothing from within this or from this page, you should be able to handle everything that you would need. Of course, what we were tailoring into a little earlier is that XMM portion, which is going to start to tailor into, okay, what else can we do with Microsoft and what else can we handle from within Syncro and that single pane of glass? Well, some of those things are going to be end user actions. Just like right over here, it looks like Steve Rogers has put in a ticket because he needs his password reset. I'm sure all of you have done that a time or two before, probably more than a time or two, but it takes some time to handle each one of these requests. So once this ticket came in, I'm able to see exactly who put it in, but directly from the ticket, I'm going to open up a new tab. I can go into the end user portion and then reset their password directly from within Syncro. So now once we do this in this portion of Syncro, one, you're going to be able to see a lot of information, but once we reset that, it's going to begin to log them out of their devices, and then it'll provide you a temporary password to then provide to your end user. So just like we explained, everything has been signed out. They'll be able to log in with that temporary password, which then it'll prompt them to obviously continue to reset their password and continue that process. But within the actual end user portion, there's more information that you can see here. So any associated devices, so it'll link devices to those people. You can see their principal names, what license type they have, if MFA is enabled, the methods that they're using, and their last activity, which hopefully should be something a little closer to today than a couple of weeks ago. But able to see all of that information directly within here. So now that Captain America's password is reset, we would be able to go back into the ticket to then update the ticket. We're going to do this as a public check. You can add in time if we need to process that, but now the ticket's done, password reset has been complete, and then we can go ahead and resolve these tickets. So there's a lot of things that you can do directly from within here, but no longer do you have to sign into each Microsoft tenant to process a password reset or do anything that relates to that portion. Now, once this ticket is resolved, we'll go ahead and get the good green check mark up there that we're good, and then we can continue on. Now, I do have another example built into this portion, but what you can also handle from an end user action, and once again, looks like Steve Rogers and Mr. Captain America are having some issues today, but he needs his MFA reset as well. So same process directly from within the ticket itself, we can load up the end user, and then we can reset their MFA from within here. So as this is processing, it'll begin to go. It'll give you a nice little green message down here once it resets. So our MFA was successfully reset, and they'll be able to restart that process of connecting the MFA to that portion. One of the other things you can see within here, you can see the last 5 actions for this person. Clearly, Steve has a problem with password resets. But all of that can be done directly from within Syncro. No longer do we have to have each Microsoft tenant logging into that, saving some time for your technicians and just garnering some extra efficiency within it. Last little thing from a ticket perspective, think about your standard operating processes as well. So you can do a lot of different things from within the systems. So this would be a good example of an onboard, right? We already started to do some of this, but you can put those processes within tickets, right? So good reminders for technicians. ability to handle different tasks without having to forget anything. So we ran network discovery, we deployed the agent, we connected Microsoft 365, we began that Entra sync. Now, the next portion for what we're going to do as a technician is begin to attach those security baselines and provide a little bit more detail into where they are from a secure score standpoint, what we need to fix, and what we need to go from there. So, as the technician, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our baselines, and I'm going to go ahead and do this from a different tab. We're going to go ahead and see a couple different things here. So the first portion of it is the rules that we have built in. Now, this is version 1 of what we have, but you have a lot of functionality to be able to do this. So you'll see that we have this attached to 2 tenants over here on the left. You'll see those right there with secure scores and compliancy rankings, right? Now, what's nice about this, you can set what rules you get notified on. Now, this is following the SIS framework, essentially based off of Microsoft 365's best practices. But if you wanted to go ahead and be alerted for any time an administrative account or cloud only when it's not, you can go ahead and set that notification. That rule will change, and now you can get notified on those specific instances. Now, when we go into these tenants, we're going to gather a lot more information, right? So if we go into these specific tenants, sorry, I hit the wrong button. If we go into these specific tenants, it'll start to show you exactly where we passed and where we failed. That's not the end of it, though. It gets better. So if you click into one of those failed portions, you're actually going to see the prescriptive remediation instructions for each one of those rules that we might have failed. So now built into that, there's no longer guessing on how do we fix this? How do we get it to a pass? This is how we do it with quick links in this. Now, as we continue to expand on these rules and different things like that, you're going to start to see more rules tailoring into different industries, but you're also going to be able to remediate these rules automatically for simple controls, right? But all of this is to measure drift and how we're securing our environments and handling that. Now, this is monitored twice a day within Syncro, so you'll always have a pretty accurate depiction of what's going on within here, which allows for some pretty cool stuff. But once again, anytime you click into anything, now some of these, of course, are always going to have some more labor intensive kind of rules there, but able to see it and what framework it follows directly within the system.
And I would add notifications for that drift, in-app notifications, SMS notifications, Teams channel notifications,
Yeah.
email, whatever you need.
Yeah. Hook that directly into Teams, have it pop up into a specific channel. You can even toss a link in there to have it bring you right to these pages, right? So lots of different portions that you can handle. But this is just the beginning of this section because now it's like, okay, that's great, but I want to be able to provide this to my clients and show them where we are. We just onboarded them. I want to show them where we're starting and then how we're going to get to a better score. Easy enough to create an assessment directly from within Syncro. Load this up. It'll be branded to the team. It'll then show who this is for, what date it was created, and then start to break down a lot of the information. That's some of the stuff we already saw, right? Like right off the bat, when we connected that Microsoft tenant, we knew there were 7 users. So it's starting to relay that information to them. But it's also going to show, hey, how many purchased licenses we have versus what's in use. And it's going to continue to go down and show these compliancy scores of how we relate, right? Now, within that, we'll even make it pretty easy to understand for anybody going through like, hey, here's our checklist of the rules that we follow. And it's going to bring that into a nice condensed form where it's like, hey, one of the big ones, we don't have MFA enabled for all users and admins. Now, that's a pretty easy fix, but right now we're failing on that point, and it's going to continue to break down what these rules mean in an easy way to understand. But this is super simple to prepare and then pass along to any clients of your own what directly from within Syncro. So everything that you might have logged into a Microsoft tenant for is now able to be done directly within this portion of Syncro in the XMM functionality.
Yep, and for the MSPs out there, this is a fully brandable report, so you can put your logo and your name and everything on it, so it's your property, your deliverable. And we'll continue to expand this report from an assessment perspective as we expand rules.
Rich, I think I'm out of stuff to cover.
That's faster than we calculated, sir.
A little bit, yeah. I guess that's the Italian in me. I speak too quick. Um,
That's excellent.
Now, now with that, obviously that was a pretty high level overview of some of the stuff that we went over. There is obviously more within the platform. Think of all your RMM features that you might be using on a daily basis. Obviously, able to handle all of that, including a lot more depth and customization, obviously, into the PSA side too. So the last little portion there, obviously, if you are a Syncro payer, you can come into the resource center at the top of your screen. Join our Syncro community. There's a lot of forums in there. Let us know your thoughts and questions about XMM anytime within the forum, but it's also a good kind of springboard for other conversations and stuff like that too. But that's located in your resource center in your Syncro instance.
Yep, our newly launched community forum. So
Newly
go
launched.
participate. It's going to help everyone. So thank you. All right, so let's get into
All
Q&A,
right.
and let me pull up some of the questions we saved. So the first question, is there any plan on Syncro to get PIPEDA, and I'm not going to try to say that as a word, complement as we have prospects in the pharmacy industry? So I'm sure this is around compliance, obviously. So in terms of the security baselines, we are investigating what other type of compliance and best practices we can start to implement into that practice. So if that's an important compliance framework for us to look into, we'll make a note of it, and we look forward to continued feedback in that area. Second question. Is it possible to have one Microsoft 365 tenant sync to multiple organizations? You want to take that one, Stephen?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I didn't know if you were taking all those or if we were going to split them
I just
off.
figure
So
we go back and forth.
yeah. So yeah, absolutely. It's multi-tenancy. So you can push one overarching and then have multiple tenants underneath. Essentially, the whole goal is to be able to provide access to all of your tenants within the pane of glass. So that is possible.
Absolutely. So the next question, does it log the changes to Microsoft 365 and can you set alerts based on changes, such as change of a global admin? You want me to take this one?
Yeah, go ahead on that one.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the security baselines or posture management at this moment, for example, would look at several factors around global administrators. Now, it depends on what you mean by change, right? So changes like their password changed or an attribute changed on them or some sort of a sign-in detection was confirmed, the answer is no. We're looking at least at this initial phase. I think for a lot of that data, we would be looking to integrate signals from Microsoft 365 that are looking at those anomalies already, and then bringing those into our system as alerts versus using security baselines as a means to check for all types of changes, if that helps answer the question.
Rich, I actually got two, and I think they're two important ones to cover quickly. Um, Baselines, what we showed off is currently in early access. So if you are a Syncro partner, if you head to the roadmap section on our website, or if someone might be able to post the form in the chat, uh, you can fill that out and it'll be added to your instance of Syncro. So if you are not seeing the baselines functionality is because it's still in early access, but you can be added to that early access. And thank you. It was just posted in the chat. The other portion, the Microsoft 365 management that we went through today is built into the team plan. So that Sync, the security baselines and assessments, your ability to take end user actions and everything along those lines, that is in the team plan. So able to test it if you are a Syncro partner and you haven't had a team trial recently. Obviously, you can trial out that team portion to see if it's fitting for what you want to do.
Excellent. Still got lots of questions coming in. So one probably we should address right off the top. So someone had during the demo tried to connect one of their tenants to Syncro. They're getting a specific error that they sent out there. So this is a known error. If you go into support and search our support, this was a known error that was picked up during early access, and we have this in the roadmap to address. But we have a workaround for it, so you can uh, resolve this issue immediately.
All right. Let's see here. Rich, this looks like there's a couple questions on for on-prem AD.
Yeah, for sure. So the first question was around how does a password reset deal with Entra Sync when you're in a hybrid mode or using Active Directory? You would have to use write back from Entra ID to your Active Directory on Active Directory AD for any password changes made in the cloud to be picked up. We wouldn't be able to make the changes in Active Directory directly because this is a cloud only or cloud-based solution.
Cool. Let's see here.
Will the report be customizable? We deal in French-speaking customers and would like to translate at least. Yeah, explain
Mm,
possible. That's a great question. At this moment, there's no direct plans, but that has been discussed very at the very beginning. How editable does this need to be? How customizable does this need to be? So I think from that perspective, we're probably exploring some possible solutions so we can generate this report in multiple languages through using generative AI is probably where we're leaning instead of trying to, because I've dealt with trying to do many languages and even with translators, they don't come out very well. So we need something a bit more robust. So that's probably the best answer I can give you at this moment. There's no direct plans at customization, but we understand the need to have assessments that are editable and customizable.
right. Rich, I'm actually seeing two on this one, and I apologize, I don't know the answer. But is there a minimum license requirement tenancy side to configure the integration?
Say that again? Sorry.
Is there a minimum license that they have to have on the Microsoft side to configure the integration?
Yeah, that goes back to that error that I was talking about earlier that one of
Okay.
our participants raised. There is no minimum. That is the straight up answer. This is an anomaly that will be fixed. And this is directly related because the person that's onboarding for that tenant has a business standard or a business basic license, and the service principal is missing. So uh, if anyone outside that won't have this problem, but this will be remedied as well. So the short answer is no. There's no limits. We don't want to limit it to a specific type.
Right. Question on if Syncro employees are able to access the Microsoft tenants without our partner's knowledge. That answer is no. We don't have access to that stuff, so you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah,
Um,
we're fully
another one,
SOC 2 compliant, so that would go against SOC 2 compliance in
right,
terms of managing customer data.
right. Another one in here from an anonymous attendee. When will paid training be available? I'm not sure, but I can pass that information along to see what we can do for you there. I think we might have hit all of the. Oh, there's one more Microsoft one. Are you able to manage Microsoft 365 group security groups through XMM?
Not yet, but it's on the forefront.
A little
And then
little breadcrumb there.
yeah, we'd love to hear like how important that is. We understand from our perspective how important that is, but love to hear more, Alex.
Use the forum for that, or even if you are a Syncro subscriber in that portion, there is a product idea portion to it. Feel free to put that in there. I know our product team reads every single one of those that comes through because I'm in that Slack channel. Cool. All right, so there is a couple in here. I'm just gonna go through. There was a question if we integrate with Field Effect. I don't think there's any direct integration with Field Effect, but of course we do have an open API, and there are some other integrations with things like Zapier or Integrately to be able to process some of that um, to potentially connect some things within there as well. Um, I think I know the answer to this one, Rich, but I'm just going to relay it to you. Is this Canadian healthcare compliant? Anonymous, are you relating to the Syncro platform as a whole, or like the Microsoft 365 integration itself? If you wouldn't mind just putting that back in there so we can get your question answered properly. Let's see here. There is a question on here while we're waiting for that one on Syncro in general as a whole. Um, Rich, you have any information on Canadian compliancy for healthcare?
No, not directly. I
Yeah,
think this is a follow-up questions really.
yeah.
Deep dive
We'll
into what
find
that
out
means.
for you. We'll ask some people in the background and get you an answer. Question on here about the different plans from Syncro. So there are two plans. The team plan is where XMM lives, right? Where your security, excuse me, baselines and assessments, your Entra integration, but it also brings in different functionality throughout the platform, right? So there is expanded Splashdot features. There is network discovery, that portion that we went through in the beginning of the demo. It does also bring in some advanced customization and enhancements to some automation on the ticketing side, how tickets can route or how things can be assigned, different things that begin to process through. There's also different integrations like Power BI, the ability to schedule out Syncro into like your own database or your own my SQL, and then you can do whatever you want with the data. So there's a lot of different uh, changes into the team plan and where that portion comes up. But if you would like to go through that more in depth, please just reach out to us, and we'd be happy to do that for you.
We had a question come in, Stephen, and you may be able to answer. Does the
Yep.
network discovery install agent on the managed discovered device?
If it's already managed, it should already have an agent.
Right. But I guess the probably the question is if it's newly discovered, does it install the agent or what's the process there?
We can install the agent twice. So if the agent already lives on the device, it's already listed as a managed asset. It won't reinstall another agent.
And if it's an unmanaged asset, newly discovered?
If the credentials are set up properly, it'll install the agent for
Okay, excellent.
it. Linux agent has actually just hit our roadmap. So we are working on that in the background. Trust me. To quote the great D, we've heard you loud and clear on that one. So that is in the works. Um, Andrew, our pricing is billed in the US dollar.
Another
Let's
network
see.
discovery one. Do we install agents on Macs?
I would want to follow up on what the process is on that. Wally, let me get back to you on that one because we would still need to enable permissions. So it might take the initial step, but we would still need to enable those permissions in the background. So let me follow up with you on that one. Let me just screenshot that so I don't forget.
Yeah. And then just another reminder, the capabilities we mostly reviewed today, obviously not all, are primarily available in the Teams plan, not the core plan, including network discovery, the Microsoft integrations, the security baselines.
Let's see here.
Uh, there's one
I,
around.
I read a question and then more questions come in and then I
I
lose the
know.
question.
I'll just bang this one out. There's one around mobile management on the roadmap. There's nothing directly on this year's roadmap, but it's under investigation, mostly around potentially around Intune integrations for mobile management. So I'd love to hear feedback. So go on the community if you have more to share. Jason, thank you.
Cool. Let's see here. Anonymous, your question about with the new features being deployed recently, if you're experiencing any issues, please reach out to our tech support team so that they could dive deeper into what might be going on. Um, that way we can track and start to do some more diagnostic stuff if something is happening. Um, Wilton, and this kind of goes for any questions relating to Syncro as a whole. So we bill per user. So anybody who accesses the platform of Syncro with a unique ID would be considered a user. Everyone does need to be on the same plan. So you can't mix and match the plans, but anybody who has a unique login into the platform would be considered a user for Syncro and then be charged a license.
Was that Wilton's that you
That
were
was Wilton.
answering?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Does the team plan have the ability to have separate teams with different branding? Uh, Santi, are you referring to potentially like a co-managed situation where you might have the MSP, but you have a co-managed situation where they want their own branding? If that is the case, no, the branding is just for the MSP or the main account. Um, don't have the ability to offer different branding for different users within the system.
And I suppose you could set up different uh
We can do different
entities. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do
If
different
you
security groups so that they only have access to certain things, but um, and this is one of the things on the roadmap, being able to have like another outbound email so that they can show like it's coming from them. Um, but the actual branding itself of like the logos and stuff like that would just be to one company. All right, we got 5 minutes left. Let's see what else we can get here. No, not comp, just different branding per team. Yeah, Sandy. So the branding would be just the one within there. So the main logo, colors, everything along those lines. The RMM agent would be branded to essentially the overall arching company. Um, that would show to like your clients, right? So like if you're sending them an invoice or any sort of emails, like it has the MSP or the internal IT department's brand on it.
more questions on Mac. Some questions around RMM, around CPU, motherboard temperatures. We're gonna have to follow up with you on that particular question, unless you know. I'm not aware of those
I don't
limitations or anything.
I don't even see those questions. Where are you looking on this? Oh,
Uh,
there it is. Sorry, it just came up.
yeah, yeah. So we will follow up
Yeah.
on that
I
particular
would I
one.
would put that in the product idea portion of your Synchro profile. Or on the community forum, obviously, so we can track that. Make sure that we're obviously putting the stuff that's most important in the platform that the users want. Tom, there is a way to see Microsoft Defender. Looks like Lee's about to type that. But we do have an integration with Windows Defender, so you can um, monitor that stuff within the platform. You can see scans and different things relating to it, all based upon um, how you set it up within your policies. So there is different ways to see that stuff within the platform.
Yeah, and right now I think it's limited to Microsoft Defender antivirus. Um, but we have plans to continue to explore like what other types of signals and alerts need to come for incidences need to come from Defender into Syncro. So
Right.
again, community forum, post what you actually want and need from Defender, specifically what maybe licenses you're using for Defender, so we can get a better idea because there's obviously a lot of flavors of Defender and what actually is available and needed is critical to providing value to you. So thank you, Tom.
Right. Yeah, and then all of the feedback that you guys provide, like I mentioned, our product team and Rich especially is going through this, so that we can obviously start to tailor some of this stuff into your guys's stuff there. So we're not going to be able to get through all of the questions. There were some on timekeeping and some of the AI features within the platform. Feel free to reach out to us to kind of see some of that stuff. Obviously, we have a lot of documentation on all of this and videos and how that kind of goes. We just released an updated timekeeping portion, um, labor log and things like that. Actually, might be in early access still, but still able to process that. So feel free to reach out to us or get some more questions answered on how that stuff works. Um, Derek, I will take down your information. I will follow up with you on that too. I think I might have already gotten an answer, but I want to understand it before I say it out loud. So we'll work with that portion. Um, Santi, I agree with you. I think that's a great idea on automating some OID discoveries as well. I've definitely seen that pop around, but definitely add that as a product idea because from an SNMP standpoint, that would obviously automate that process a lot.
Yeah, and Richard says, does baseline report get updated when you have addressed the issue? Yes, it does. So, like Stephen said, twice a day the assessment runs. If the rule is now compliant, it will become, it will show as passed. And then if you generate a new assessment report, that assessment report will reflect that current information.
Another one from an anonymous person. Looks like you guys are already using Syncro. If you guys want to reach out to us, or me, or whoever you spoke to when you guys were during the valuation process, we can get that question answered for you on your vendor contact management. Just want to understand a little bit more of what you're looking for there, so we can point you in the right direction.
And Randy, you asked if this is all available today. It is available all in Teams, except the security baselines is still in EA until next month. And if you do want access, you can sign up for that EA access. Um, Stephen, do you know where that's the easiest place for Randy to find that? I guess it would be.
I know it's in the chat. We might need to just
Okay,
put it back in there, but it is on the website in the roadmap section to be able to process that. And then just
excellent.
one last one. I know we just went over it. I want to respect everyone's time, but David, you don't have to have the network scan auto deploy the agent. You can simply just be notified of new devices that are touching the network. So it doesn't have to deploy if you don't want it to.
And maybe the
Cool.
last question. To install aids, can you use domain admin credentials? I honestly don't know.
I believe that is correct. Andrew, let us follow up with you, but from my understanding, that is what you can use. Yes. Roy, I will reach out to you after this and follow up with you on your question there. Um, Rich, I think that's it. We didn't get through all of them, but we got through most.
I think it was a good session. I think it was a good round. Lots
Uh,
of good questions and lots of things to think about. We appreciate all the feedback.
yeah. So, like I said, feel free to reach out to us with any additional questions. Feel free to use the community forum if you are already a Syncro partner. Reach out to anything that we can help you out with. But this will be available. For recorded for anyone that's signed up. So any other additional questions, feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, we can always get you on a call with an account executive to go deeper into the platform as well. But I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you next time.